Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a genuinely chilling narrative that perfectly blends supernatural horror with, well, a very grounded and very real human tragedy. We're looking at this fascinating story from our source material that explores rural folklore, dark magic, and honestly, the absolute limits of human greed. It's a gripping tale that functions as both a warning and a psychological thriller. So, let's just jump
I
straight
really
in.
want to hook you immediately with this specific thought. In today's world, monsters live inside humans. This is a haunting realization spoken by Kamala Tai, the elderly mother in our story. By framing our explainer with this thought, we instantly elevate the whole thing from a simple jump scare ghost story into a deep psychological thriller. It kind of forces us to ask right from the start, when we encounter the supernatural, are the ghosts really the scariest part of the equation, or is it the darkness lurking within the human mind? Keep that question locked in your head as we go through this.
Section 1. The Spooky Night and Dark Ritual.
So, picture this. Imagine the village of Dhaulapur on a pitch-black new moon night, what's known as Amavasya. The entire village is drowned in absolute silence, save for the distant, kinda unsettling howling of dogs and wolves. Everyone is locked safely inside. But out in the darkness, our anti-hero, Damodar, creeps toward an ancient, cursed banyan tree on the outskirts of the village. We're talking about a place so ominous that literally no one dares go near it, even in broad daylight. Damodar begins murmuring this incredibly eerie chant, but honestly, it's his actions that are truly disturbing here. He pulls out a cloth doll, about the size of a human baby, decorated heavily with vermilion, kajal, jasmine oil, and rose perfume. Then, without even a moment's hesitation, he takes a sharp knife, slices his own palm, and lets his warm, fresh blood drip directly onto the face of the doll before tossing it right toward the base of the haunted tree.
And almost instantly, a thick, black smoke descends from the branches of the banyan tree. It twists and forms into the shape of a horrifying, weeping woman. But the moment she sees that blood-soaked doll, her whole demeanor shifts. She drops to her knees, cradles the doll, and begins to sing this hypnotic lullaby, "Sleep, moon, sun, stars, sleep, my precious darling." And while this terrifying entity is completely distracted by the illusion of a child, Damodar sneaks around to the other side of the tree and frantically begins digging up the roots to pull out handfuls of priceless, pure gold jewelry. It's wild.
Section 2. The Secret of Pret Vidya. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how it completely breaks down the mechanics of this dark magic.
Because we aren't just dealing with random chaos here. This is a highly specific, rule-bound system of dark magic. To understand the ritual, we really have to understand the entities involved. The spirit is known as the Sanwali Banjh, which essentially translates to the barren spirit. This is a tragic spirit of a woman whose eternal, unfulfilled desire for a child ties her to this realm. And the magic Damodar is using? That's Pret Vidya, or dark spirit magic. It's a highly dangerous, esoteric art that he actually learned from his late grandfather. So he isn't fighting the spirit at all. He is literally psychologically manipulating her deepest trauma for pure financial gain.
The methodology here is absolutely crucial. Think of it like a fast-paced, high-stakes heist. Step 1, offer the doll tied with mantras. Step 2, wait for the illusion to take hold as she sings the lullaby. Step 3, steal the hidden gold. And Step 4, flee immediately. The timing is quite literally everything. The very moment the lullaby stops, the illusion breaks. If you are still standing there when she realizes she's holding a cloth doll instead of a real baby, yeah, you're dead.
But there is a massive, fatal catch here, and I really need you to focus on this ultimate rule. None of those previous steps matter at all if you don't have this one vital item, the spirit's severed braid. You see, Damodar wears this braid tied securely around his waist. It acts as a sort of magical camouflage. Without it, the spirit will instantly smell human flesh. And if she smells you, there is absolutely no escape. She will rip your heart straight out of your chest. This single, gross little object is the incredibly thin line between endless wealth and instant gruesome death.
Section 3. Sakhubai's greed and betrayal.
So Damodar survives the night and escapes with the gold. But he doesn't go home. Oh no, he runs straight to his demanding mistress, Sakhubai. Just consider the two totally separate lives Damodar is leading here, because it really highlights his complete moral decay. On one side, you have his mother Kamala Tai and his terrified 8-year-old daughter Mbali, living in absolute poverty, literally starving, and being constantly harassed by debt collectors.
On the exact opposite side, you have Sakhubai, who Damodar just showers with raw, pure gold. But Sakhubai isn't satisfied with just the gifts, you know. The blinding gleam of that gold makes her incredibly greedy for the actual source. She goes as far as threatening to take her own life by swallowing poison unless Damodar tells her exactly where all this gold comes from. Exhausted and totally manipulated, he finally breaks down and reveals the entire secret of Pret Vidya.
Section 4. The terrifying consequence of greed.
Fast forward, it is the very next Amavasya night. Damodar is back at the banyan tree. He performs the ritual, just like before. He throws the doll, the spirit descends, she begins the lullaby, and he starts frantically digging for the gold. But tonight, the rules are violently broken. Out of nowhere, the lullaby just stops dead. The air freezes. A furious, piercing voice shrieks, "This is not my child! Betrayal!" The illusion has broken way too early. Damodar panics. He turns to run, but the horrifying spirit is already standing directly in front of him. Desperate, he reaches down to his waist to grasp his protective braid, but his fingers just grasp empty air. It's gone. He is entirely defenseless, and in one swift, brutal motion, the spirit's claws plunge straight into his chest.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate betrayal. While Damodar slept earlier that day, Sakhubai actually stole the magical braid. Her blinding greed completely convinced her that she didn't even need Damodar, she could just get all the gold for herself. So, roughly an hour after Damodar's death, Sakhubai arrives at the tree completely alone. But here's the thing, she isn't a master of dark magic. When she sees the horrifying reality of the black smoke and the weeping spirit right in front of her, sheer terror just takes over. She completely forgets the protective mantras. The spirit instantly locks onto her, and Sakhubai meets the exact same gruesome, bloody fate.
It is a just spectacularly grim aftermath. Boundless greed swallowed 2 lives in a single night. For days, vultures fed on their remains beneath the cursed Banyan tree. And the tragedy here is really amplified by the fact that the villagers likely knew exactly what had happened out there, but they stayed completely silent out of sheer terror. Back home, Damodar's mother, Kamlatai, simply accepted his sudden disappearance as dark fate. It was just a heavy stone on her heart, and she never knew the exact gruesome details of that night.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer, and it leaves us with a final, really provocative question. Who is the real monster here? Is it the terrifying supernatural spirit who is essentially just acting on trauma and pure instinct, completely bound by the rules of magic? Or is it the humans, Damodar and Sakhubai, who were driven by boundless, destructive greed? It brings us perfectly full circle to the grandmother's warning at the very beginning of our journey. Human desire, when it's left completely unchecked, can conjure horrors far worse than any ghost. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating source material with me today, and I'll catch you next time.